Hi everybody. I'm just gonna give people enough time to get on before I get started because I really don't like to repeat myself. So just give me a few. I'm jotting down some notes on things that I'd like to speak about as far as clairaudience, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Clairaudient is the gift of clear hearing. I wish I could look directly into the camera. Sorry, you guys. Clairaudient is the gift of clear hearing, and it's one of the easiest psychic gifts to cultivate and learn. So that's one of the first things I'd like to teach. A lot of people are asking about how can I hear from my guides more clearly? How can I hear them at all? How do I know who my guides are? What are their names? So this is going to help you be able to hear from them. And sorry if I'm breathing heavy. I ran up the stairs to try to be on time. So I'm trying to catch my breath. Deep breathing. Okay. So like I said, I'm just going to give everybody a few more minutes to get on. Hello. I don't know who all is going to join us, but it's going to be a quick video, as quick as I can make it, because I don't want this to be an extensive conversation about clairaudient, because clairaudient is only one of the 6 senses that everyone has. Okay, so let's see. All right, peace, love, and light, everybody. Good to see you here, Levna. All right, so I'm gonna get started because I don't have a lot of time. But clairaudient, like I said, is the gift of clear hearing, and it's important to develop this gift. Even though all of us have been able to clear hearly from our guides all of our lives, believe it or not. Everybody, one thing you gotta know about clairaudient is everybody in the world hears voices. Okay, that does not make you crazy. Everybody that they say is crazy is not crazy. Those voices in your head don't just belong to you. They belong to your ancestors. They belong to your spirit guides. They belong to other beings. They belong to other spirits that are around you wherever you are in certain areas. So clairaudient is any of those voices you hear in your head. Yes, you can hear literally outside of your head at times. But most people, when they get into being clairaudient and developing their gift of hearing to hear their spirit guides, the voices come from within. So with that being said, I'll say it again, you've been doing this your whole life. All those voices in your head are not just your voice. They're your spirit guides. They're literally your spirit guides. The first thing people experience when they start becoming more clairaudient is hearing someone call your name. I remember so many times growing up, I would swear I'd hear my mother's name, my mother calling my name. And then I would go to the door and nobody's there. So I thought I was just being weird. So yeah, I'm trying to get the comments back. So anyway, that's one of the ways you begin to hearing from spirit, is hearing somebody calling your name. I don't know if you all know, old folks would always say that's your angels talking to you. My light just went out. Hold on just a second. Let me click on something so my computer light will be bright enough. There it is. All right. So anyway, another way you begin knowing that you're clairaudient is you'll hear ringing in the ear, which a lot of people are experiencing right now. Is the ringing in the ear. Right now, everyone is telling me, including myself, that the ringing in the ear is extremely louder than it usually is, and it lasts a lot longer. With me, it's always my right ear. Whenever you get ringing in the ear, what you want to do is stop whatever you're doing and pay attention to what's going around you, and try to listen with the intent of hearing this ancestor or this spirit guide that's trying to get your attention. Because all it is focusing your inner hearing on the high-pitched frequencies. So another way you can hear from your spirit guides, and you guys have been doing this your whole life, is through music. All of a sudden a song comes to your head, and then it's exactly what you're going through. It's like, gosh, I needed to hear that. Or there's a certain word in a song or certain words that stand out to you. Those are your spirit guides communicating with you. So when you hear music, just random music in your head, those are spirit guides. No joke. Sometimes when I'm doing readings and I can't really hear maybe the name of a person or a place or a situation, you know, was it a romantic interest? A lot of times a song will come into my head, and then I'll speak about that song, and that person's like, oh my gosh, like that was our song. Like, how did you know? Yes, he's here, you know. So it's a really cool thing once you get used to doing it. Like I said, everybody is clairaudient. Everyone is. You're just not knowing what to look for with the voices and the music. So one thing you can do to be more clairaudient and be an instant psychic, you can do this with yourself, you can do this with your family, you can do this with your friends. You'll be able to speak and hear from their spirit guides as you speak and hear from your spirit guides. So you can become an instant psychic that way. So one of the things you can do, we can do a quick exercise, and you do this daily. You can do this several times a day, as many as times that, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. I have a million things going through my head. You can do this as many times a day as you feel or you think about it. So right now, one thing that you can do is, I want you to say your name, your birth name, your birth title, your appellation, whatever you want to call it. Say your name, but don't move your mouth, because the six senses that we have, we don't need a mouth to speak. We don't need ears to hear. We don't need eyes to see. We don't need any of those things, because really everything is inside the mind. So say your name without moving your mouth, and then kind of pay attention to where you heard that name. Where did you hear it in your body, in your head? Where did you hear it? So I'll give you a few minutes to do that, or a few seconds to do that. Just kind of say your name in your head, and then just kind of type, like, where did you hear it? All right, so for me, when I say my name to myself without moving my mouth, I hear it at my throat chakra, mostly from here down. So that lets you know whenever it's your words, but you're not moving your mouth, it's wherever you heard your name, that's where your voice is. So you'll know the difference between hearing your voice and hearing the voice of spirits or guides. So imagine for a minute your mother or father or whoever raised you calling your name, and just you think about, where do you hear their voice? Where do you hear their voice? So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Just somebody close to you that you love, probably somebody that raised you. Hear them call your name without moving your mouth. Okay, Lebna, I know you said that you heard it in your mind, but where did you hear? It's important to know where you're hearing the voice, because if you can compartmentalize your mind into different sections for different spirits, ancestors, and entities, you will hear their voices in different places in your head and in your throat chakra. Some people even hear it in their gut. So when we hear from spirit, most of the time we're not hearing audible. So when I do a reading and I tell someone I hear the name John, I'm not literally hearing it. It's a sound in my mind that's sort of like an inner hearing. So you got to get used to where you're hearing certain words, certain things that come to you. Where are you hearing it? So when I hear my mother calling my name, I kind of hear it because my mom, she gives me chills sometimes. She freaks me out. But I kind of hear her name at sort of like the back of my neck, kind of resonates forward. So if something should happen to my mother and I hear her talking to me and I want to know if it's her, I know that she's going to speak to me back here. I know that's where I'm going to hear. Thank you. I know that's where I'm going to hear her voice. All right. So yes, but where? That's the whole point of becoming clairvoyant, is knowing where you hear the voice, because you have voices in your head all over. So if you're trying to hear from your spirit guides and you don't know where the voice is coming from, it's going to be confusing, and you're going to go the rest of your life thinking that you don't hear from your guides. Everyone is born hearing from their guides. It would be a disadvantage to you to be born without ever being able to hear from your guides. It's something you're born to do. You just have to retrain yourself into hearing the different voices and where you hear these voices, because everybody hears voices. Those are your spirit guides and your ancestors. Your forehead, that's where you heard your mother call you? Your forehead? Cool. So just remember that. Just remember, any voice that's going to come to your forehead is probably going to be your mother or close family, somebody that you love. Okay? So just remember that. So now what I want you to do is I want you to pick out a close friend that knows you well, and have them call your name in your head. And then try to figure out, where do you hear that person's voice? My spirit guides are kicking in. I apologize if I get some crazy movement going on here. But a lot of times when I focus, my spirit guides like to show themselves. So when I hear my friends' voices, I usually hear them like near my cheeks, inside my head, near my cheeks, if that makes sense. So if I hear, someone saying the red car in my head, I'm not going to automatically think I'm crazy and I'm hearing just random words. I'm going to say, where do I hear that voice? In order to find out why I'm hearing it. Where do I hear that voice? So if I hear that voice like near my temples or cheeks or somewhere, it's probably meaning that my friend's going to show up in a red car. So your guides and your friends' guides are speaking to you already. If you want to hear from your guides whom you've never met, because a lot of people haven't met their guides yet. We all have hundreds of guides, okay? So, but they all seem to use the same similar kind of voice. So if your guide is a male, most of your male voices are probably going to use that same voice. If your guide is a female, most of your female guides are going to use that same voice. Okay, it's just a matter of where do you hear it. So imagine for a minute that you've called your spirit guide to you, okay, and you ask them a question. And you just kind of wait just a minute, just breathe normally and just wait, until you hear voices in your head. And when you hear those voices, wherever you hear that voice, once you ask your question, because a lot of times I'll ask a question and I'll hear my spirit guides like at the top of my head. And it's a really, really light voice, okay? A really, really light voice. One of my spirit guides is a little girl. So I hear her, and she can tell me something like, I don't know, no bread for dinner. Nobody wants bread for dinner. Okay. And I'm thinking, gosh, where's that coming from? Like, why am I thinking that? It's your spirit guide that's telling you they don't want bread for dinner. Okay. While I'm at the store. Okay. So a lot of times with me, I'll hear my spirit guides. I hear my spirit guides to the top. And when I'm doing a reading, I'll hear the person's thoughts, or whoever they're asking about, their thoughts and words. I'll hear them right here, like in this section. So what I want you to do is just imagine for a minute you hear your spirit guide calling your name. Even though you don't know, you've never met your spirit guide, just ask your spirit guide to speak your name. And listen to where you hear that voice. Where do you hear it? I'll give you a few seconds to do that. All right, so like I said, with me, I always hear my spirit guides up here. So when I hear them say my name, it's usually like up here somewhere. So like I said, if I want to make sure or know if my spirit guides are trying to speak to me, I'll hear whatever they're telling me up here. Imagine for a minute that a total stranger, somebody you just met, you hear it at the left side of your head. Good. I want feedback from you guys, so to make sure that you're getting clear understanding of what I'm saying about clairaudience. Clairaudience, again, is one of the easiest and fastest abilities to cultivate. If you're a beginning psychic, if you want to do readings for yourself, and do readings for other people. When I say readings, I don't mean necessarily using divination tools, because you're the divination tool. My mother named me Oracle when I was a baby. That's my middle name, is Oracle. My middle name is Fenice, but in the Egyptian language, Fenice means Oracle, voice of God. So I've learned to hear where these voices are coming from. So when you want to have a question answered from one of your friends or family members, a lover, a husband, and you're trying to figure out where they're coming from, what they're talking about, are they telling the truth, you can ask their spirit guides. Even though you don't know them by name, you can ask their spirit guides to politely come and speak with you a moment. And they're usually pretty good about that, because our spirit guides like to talk to each other. So if you're standing next to somebody, our spirit guides are communicating with each other, believe it or not. So they're giving and receiving information. So if you're inquiring about somebody, all you have to do is ask their spirit guides to present themselves to you and ask them a question. Is this person cheating on me? And you just listen, and you may hear it in your stranger section, but maybe up higher. That's not your voice, because your voice comes from here or wherever you heard your own voice. But if you hear a voice from somewhere else, that's somebody outside of you. Okay, so you listen for the answer. Maybe the answer will come in a color. Maybe the answer will come in symbolism. One of my friends' answers come in cartoon characters. I don't know. But listen to what you hear and know what section of your head you're hearing it, because that is your spirit guide speaking to you. You can give other people readings this way. You can ask their spirit guides to communicate with you and yours. You can ask your question and listen for the answer, and where do you hear that answer, to ensure that it's not your own voice. Because that's the trickiest part about being clairaudient, and the biggest question people have. And I had that question when I first got started, because I thought hearing from your spirit guide was going to be outside of me. And it does happen, but most times it's in the head. So, your left side, cool. That sounds biblical to me. You can't survive on bread alone. You need your meat. So hearing from their spirit guides will definitely put you in the arena of becoming a beginning psychic medium, because that's all I do. All I do is, as a medium, is I summons the spirit or their guides or what have you, and I listen to what they're telling me and where I'm hearing the voice, because that way I can distinguish their voice They're a spirit guide's voice from my own guides and my own families and my own voice. That is the main issue with Clairaudient, is knowing the difference between your own voice and the other voices in your head. Okay. Let's see. I jotted down. Let's see. We discussed music. All right, so let's get into some, I'm sorry about that. Let's get into some practices that you can do to strengthen your psychic hearing, Clairaudient. One of the things that you can do is get into silence, complete silence. Unplug stuff, turn the TVs off, all that, no cell phone. Complete silence. Silence has a sound, you guys. A lot of us do not like to be in silence. We'll turn on the fan or some kind of white noise because we simply don't like the quiet, because we know that when we're in the quiet, we'll start hearing voices. True story. You'll start hearing voices in the quiet, and those are everybody that's with you, all of your guides and ancestors. They're going to be talking to you because you're in the quiet. So a good thing to do is once a day, when you can, no matter for how long you can, is get in complete silence. You know how they used to say, how can you hear from God with all this noise going on? So complete silence. Practice that daily. Another thing you can do is wherever you are, whether it's at work, parks are great for this. If you go to the park, in your own home, your own home is kind of, because you're used to the noises already in your own home, so it kind of goes over your head. You don't really pick out other stuff that you need to hear. So do these exercises like away from your home, but you can do them at home. Okay. Hi, Judy. All right. So, one thing you can do is sit down, get quiet, and listen at every single sound that you can pick out. You can get a notebook, paper, and write them down. Every sound that you hear. The way you want to do this is you want to bring your hearing in and out. Sort of like, I don't know what to compare this to, but you want to pull your hearing in close to you. And what I mean by that is you want to hear within your own body. So you want to get to the point to where you get quiet and you start listening to your own body sounds. Block everything out. This is going to train you to listen to things, and it's going to train you to block things out. So, and blocking things out is going to be necessary. You'll find once you become more psychic. But bring your hearing in close to you, as close as you can. And the first thing that you should probably start to hear is your own heartbeat. That's usually the first thing people start to hear when they bring their hearing in close to their body. In your spirit, what in your spirit? Be more descriptive. I can't read minds. I'm not a mind reader. I'm a great psychic, but I'm not a mind reader. But yeah, so bring your hearing in and listen for the sounds your body is making, even the gross ones. I don't make gross sounds, y'all. So anyway, the first thing you'll hear is your heartbeat, and then you'll start hearing maybe like a humming mechanical noise. And what that noise is your pranic energy that's around you, your chi. You can actually hear the sound of your own chi if you listen. Selective hearing. You have to have selective hearing to be a good psychic. You do. You have to know how to filter in and filter out things. You have to know what's important to pay attention to and listen to and what's not. Because when you become more open, there's going to be lots of noise that's going to try to intrude on you, because you're developing your hearing. So you're going to be picking up everything. Okay. So bring your hearing in, listen to the sounds that your body is making. Like I said, a lot of times the first thing you hear is the heartbeat. The next thing you hear is your chi, your prana energy, which is the energy that's in everything. Peace. You hear your heartbeat? I do too. It freaks me out sometimes to sit there and hear my heartbeat. That's so trippy. Because then you start thinking about it like, oh, I hope my heart doesn't stop. I hope my heart doesn't stop. I do that with my lungs. It's so quirky. I do that with my breathing too. Once I start really paying attention to my breathing, like if I'm just casually breathing, about to go to bed and I start thinking about my breathing, I start panicking and wondering, oh my gosh, my lungs are going to stop. It's like ringing or frequency. Yes. That's what we began talking about, was frequency. Your spirit guides speak to you on a different frequency. And so that's what that high pitched noise is. It's you're actually listening on a non-human frequency that's coming in from an angelic realm. So you have to pay attention to that. Old folks used to call it the sounding of the hounds, because we all have a built-in warning system, and that's from our spirit guides. And so when this warning system kicks in, you'll have the ringing. A lot of times you'll have that pressure feeling, that atmospheric change feeling in your ear as well. Usually for me, a pressure like that, a change in atmosphere, when I feel that, it's kind of like being underwater, that stuffiness in your ear. A lot of times when that happens to me, I know there's a change in atmosphere, and that means to me that there's a spirit around. They just changed. The atmosphere just changed. Yeah. So back to the hearing exercise. After you get used to hearing your body, you do that for a few minutes. You want to push your hearing back out to where you can hear everything around you. Start taking notes of the sounds that you're hearing, from the smallest thing and to the highest thing that you can hear in the sky. I have a friend that could hear. The first thing they pick up is the bird wings. When they're outside, they can pick that up, where most of us, we don't even notice it. So that's how keen your hearing has to develop to. You can do this right now, however. You can ask yourself, not yourself, you can ask your guides questions. You can ask your ancestors questions and see what they say, see what they show you. Also, another thing to do and to realize is that our guides and ancestors speak to us in different ways. Okay, they're not all the same. You can't put them all in a box. So a lot of times they'll send you images. They'll send you colors. They'll send you words. They'll send you sounds. They'll send you music. They'll start tapping. That's why I say it's very important to develop hearing of your environment wherever you are, because a lot of times they'll start tapping on whatever's next to you, a bottle or a glass or the wall or the window, or my water bottles will start popping, even if they've been sitting, and there's no reason for them to pop. It's open, they'll start popping. So you have to pay attention. We're all psychic. You just have to pay attention, okay? Another thing you can do is, let's see, singing chants is another thing that helps me and helps a lot of psychics. Singing, that's why I sing a lot. It helps open the throat chakra. Your throat chakra, which is right here, once you begin working on your chakras, it'll open up your ear chakras a lot more, especially your throat chakra and your heart chakra. These two chakras will open up your ear chakras. Okay, so your hearing can be a lot stronger. Okay. Yeah, to hear a live orchestra is pretty cool. I tell you what, once we get into mantras and mudras, there is a mudra or things you do with your hands that will open up certain chakras and certain psychic abilities. So I teach mudras. One mudra that you do specifically is to open up the hearing. And you can actually hear, once you do this mudra, I promise, you can actually hear like trumpets. You can hear like an orchestra. You hear this beautiful angelic music. Everybody I teach this to hears this music. So if you're into music and you know, or you're into some kind of production and you need to use your ears a lot, doing this one specific mudra, and I'll show it to you now. What you do is you want to take just like this. You want to take this. It's simple mudra, and you hold it on both sides of your ears. I hear vocals as well as the instruments. That's amazing. That's amazing. You have a lot of angelic beings around you, because that music is supposedly coming from the heavenly realms, which there is a heavenly realm. It's in your head. So, and the chakras beyond the seventh chakra. We have more than 7 chakras, you guys. I teach on 42. So once you get past the 22nd chakra, or to the 22nd chakra, that's where you can practice invisibility, levitation, teleportation. These things are real. These things are real. My brother had a master teacher in martial arts that would levitate. True story. He would levitate and look at you like, what? Like, what do you mean, what? But so it's pretty cool. But yeah, you will hear this music once you do this mudra. Do both of your hands this way. This is for the ear chakras, and you just breathe from below the belly button. Take deep breaths and hold this mudra to your ear. Some people will sit sort of yogic style and hold this mudra to their knees. I use it close to my ears, and I just sort of push and pull away until it feels right, until I can start, I can hear right now, until I can start hearing the music. So it's amazing. You hear the cymbals? Cool. So that's one thing to do. Do that every day. What you should be doing psychically every day, if you're serious about developing your intuitive gifts, is cleaning your aura every day. I can't stress how important it is to clean your aura, and I'm getting away from the topic, but this is important. I look at people's auras every day, and I'm almost disgusted at how dirty their auras are. And I'm like, how do you even see? Your aura is so dirty. When your aura is dirty, you don't attract the things that you want. You don't attract the opposite sex. You always have issues with them. Money seems to leave your hands easily. You lose jobs because you lose your magnetism. Gosh, I'm feeling energy right here. You lose your magnetism, okay, when your aura is dirty. You're supposed to clean your aura just like you shower. You know, I'm picky, y'all. Like, when I'm so serious. Like, the first thing I look at people when I see them, I look at their aura, and I can tell, you know, a lot of things about that person by looking at their aura. But you should clean your aura every day, and the way you do this is you imagine white, the brightest light you could ever imagine, around yourself in your auric field. We all have an auric field. So that's one of the things I actually clean my aura twice a day, in the morning before I get out of bed, and at night when I'm in the bed. That's how I remember to spin my chakras, to clean my aura, and all the other things I do is before I get out of bed. Because once I get out of bed, that's it. I'm not doing anything, unless in the afternoon I have nothing to do, and then I'll say, you know, I'm going to sit here and meditate and chant and do all my stuff. But I always do it in the morning before I get out of bed, and in the evening before I go to bed. Spinning your chakras, you have 7 energy wheels, in 7 sections of your body. And what you want to do is you always want to spin them daily, several times a day if you need to. Spin these wheels in these certain areas. If you don't know where the chakras are, it's a good idea to go ahead and after this video and research about your chakras, the chakra colors, where they are, and what they do for you. The information is free online. So spin your chakras every day, several times a day if you need to. Clean your aura once or twice a day. Clean your third eye every day. I mean, that's, how can you see with cloudy glasses on? You can't. So you have to spin your third eye chakra and clean it with white light. All of your chakras, imagine a white light on each one. That's how you clean your chakras. People wonder why I'm so strong and why my aura is sometimes so bright. That's why. I keep my aura and my chakras squeaky. My eyes are doing this weird thing, sorry. It keeps your aura squeaky clean. And like I said, that's important if you're trying to attract good things into your life. People with dirty auras, like I said, they usually have bad luck in life. They're always depressed. They're, so. But back to topic. Another exercise you can do is imagination. Using your imagination to hear different sounds in your head, like and they can't say you can't judge a book by its cover. Oh yes you can. Oh yes you can. And that doesn't mean that they're a bad person because they have a bad, a dirty aura. They just don't know better. If nobody ever taught you to wipe your butt, you probably wouldn't know. I don't know. I think you would. But that's the same thing with cleaning the auras. If nobody ever told you that you needed to, and you don't even know what an aura is, like your aura is going to be dirty from everybody you've ever contacted in the world, in life, for every negative, bad thing that somebody's ever said to you or spoken to you. All of that junk gets trapped in your aura and dirties your aura. Some of it even puts holes in your aura, and we'll talk about that one day. But I digress. Imagine different sounds throughout your day. So just kind of sit, somewhere quiet, on lunch break or whatever, and just imagine different sounds. Like, what does a train sound like? And just hear the sound of the train in your head. What does a child playing with blocks sound like? And really, this is one of the hardest exercises when it comes to working your psychic hearing. And it's not really hard, but it's one of the hardest things, is to imagine sounds, because we're so not used to that. We're so used to being told what to hear instead of imagining it for ourselves. And when you begin to imagine sounds, you can really get into visualization techniques and the law of attraction, because the law of attraction is really about your emotions, what you see in your mind, what you feel in your heart, and what you hear. Your visions have to be very specific and very clear. So, Clairaudient, I hope this helps you. Like I said, you can become an instant psychic once you develop the skill of clairaudience. Hearing from your spirit guides and the guides of others is simply a matter of knowing where you hear the voice, and is it your voice? Because that is the biggest question people have. They're hearing voices, but then they think, oh, that's just my thought. That's just my mind. I just came up with that. That's weird. No, it's not your voice. If you know where your voice is coming from in your head, you know the difference between hearing your spirit guide's voice. So, start practicing this during the day, with family, with friends, ask their spirit guides questions, and you'll be amazed with the answers, I promise. So, if you guys have any further questions on Clairaudience, hit me up in my inbox if I don't get back to you right away. Y'all know me. You just get back with me. I'll eventually answer. My inbox, y'all don't even know. My inbox gets crazy. That's the main reason why I have a hard time getting back to people. My inbox gets unbelievably crazy. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions right now? Awesome. Thank you. This is good. Awesome. What about the feeling a vibration on left leg during the day? You may be what we call clairsentient. I'm very clairsentient. Welcome to the welcome to the family. Clairsentient is when you are able to sense feeling in your body. It's not like being an empath. With an empath, we can sense people's feelings and emotions. But being clairsentient, you can actually sense their pain. My clairsentient abilities leads me into being a medium, because I'm able to feel how a person has died. Literally, I go through their death. A lot of times during my readings, and I know if a person has died a horrible death, I'm always thinking to myself, please don't let me feel this. Please don't let me feel this. Please don't let me feel this. So you're clairsentient. Lots of old folks are clairsentient. They can tell when the weather is going to change. They can tell when somebody next to them or somebody close to them, like a child, has hurt themselves. Lots of mothers do that. We have the ability to know when our children are hurt, because we can feel it. We can absolutely feel it. I know one time my best friend, Troy Perot, you all know him, he told me that he was having pain in his back. And he feels a lot of my pain, you guys. That's why we're so close. It's because if I have headaches and stuff, he's able to feel them and take them away for me. He's amazing. So I taught him well. But he told me that his back was hurting and he couldn't figure it out. So he inboxed me and, hey, are you okay? Like, are you hurting? Or is something wrong with your back? And I'm like, no, nothing's wrong with my back. I'm good. So an hour later, my son gets home from school and tells me that he fell off of a stool at school. Don't ask me how. My son did that. Poor baby. But, and he hurt his back. So my best friend was feeling my son's pain. That's how psychic ability is supposed to work. Okay? And if you're not sure, you can always use your clairaudient. Talk to your children's teachers. Find out what's going on with them. Does this teacher like my child? Ask their guides. Hear the voice. And what do they say? What comes to mind? Write it down. Meditate on it. Look at what you write down until it clicks. Until you finally like, oh, that's what that meant. Okay? So this just takes practice of hearing your spirit guides. And you get into knowing who your spirit guides are, what their names are, by asking their names and listening to where they're saying it to you. With me, I'm a little different because I've kind of gone beyond the point of clairaudient, because I'm a medium now. I'm a channeler. So the way it works with me is if let's just say how do I explain this? If somebody sits down with a reading from me or for me, and they want to ask about their cheating, lying boyfriend or girlfriend, I don't just pull out my tarot cards. I don't just pull out my tarot cards. I cheat a little bit. I actually summons that person that they're asking about. Actually summons them to me. I channel them to me, and a lot of times they show up physically in my body, or a lot of times I'll step into their body. I'm sorry, it's just the witch in me that finds that hilarious. But I'll step into their body, or they'll step into mine, or I'll just contact their guides, or I just simply feel their energy, and I'll ask them questions. Did you go and take this chick out of town last weekend? And if they don't tell me, then their spirit guides will tell me, or my spirit guides will say, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. So that's how I hear. A lot of times also, their spirit guides or their ancestors will step into my body and actually speak through my mouth. My mouth will actually move and form words. A lot of times it's gentle. A lot of times it's not. When I work with higher, stronger beings, for instance, I work with Azazel a lot, and I'm not going to get into who he is, or she, but I address Azazel as male. But or the angel, let's just say the angel Raphael, I work with him a lot as well, that energy, that elemental. When he comes into my body, he's very big, he's very strong, he's very powerful. And when I ask, is this Raphael, he will open my mouth, I promise you, as wide as kingdom come, and it's just powerful when he says yes. When he says yes through my mouth, I'm like, he's here. So just get into the practice. Is it true that a birthmark denotes the actual spot on your body, whether I personally believe that to be true, but I'm hearing from a lot of psychic circles that's not true. But in my opinion, I believe it's true, because don't tell nobody, I have a birthmark over my heart that nobody knows about. So I know a lot about my past life. I know that I was staked through the heart in one of my past lives because I set a town on fire. Not a good thing to do, but it wasn't my fault. So it wasn't my fault. I actually, in a past life, I traveled with 2 other witches who are in this life today. I know them. And they're actually my mother and my sister. But we set this town on fire because my sister got blamed for something. And they decided it was all of us. So, yeah. So I was staked in the heart, and I was burned. And my mother was also staked in the heart. The reason why I can confirm this is because, number one, I do have a birthmark over my heart, and my mother has unexplainable heart conditions, and my sister was born with a hole in her heart. So when I was taken into the past life, this is what I saw. So in this life, I have the ability of pyrokinesis. I can set things on fire. I can control fire. One day I'll tell you a couple of stories. But past life is a real thing. Some of the things you carry with you, or some of the habits you have, your jobs you choose, the things you read, has a lot to do with your past life and who you were in a past life. I've been told that I was a doctor in a past life. I did have my own personal past life visitation when I visited Egypt, ancient Egypt. And in ancient Egypt, in Egypt today, and I had no idea, because I was actually new coming into the conscious awareness, of who we are. So I didn't really know, but I knew because I had been to this place. Under Egypt, there are these buildings. There's this one huge building. It's beyond belief how big this building is. And it has many, many rooms. I've been told that this building was a school. not like the schools we have today. This was a school where they taught all the sciences, philosophy, everything, and it's under Egypt. So I've been there, and I've been told while I was there that I was a teacher. I was a teacher in Egypt, in ancient Egypt. So that explains a lot why I teach today, why this appeals, all of this appeals to me. So yeah, it's amazing. So these abilities that you're cultivating are not just for show or so you can be a better Facebook debater. These abilities will take you places and will help you figure some shit out in life. Because if you can figure out the past, you can figure out your present and your future. Real talk. So tap into your abilities. Whenever I give these videos, you know, and I'll try to do them as often as I can, take notes on them. And then don't just do that. Get off the video, go Google some information that I've spoken about and get more information. Be better than me. I tell all of my students, I desire for you to be better for me because it looks good for me because I taught you. So, yeah, so that's that. Let's see, did anybody have... I'm an empath too. I sense people's stress and sadness. I understand, because me as an empath and a clairsentient, I not only feel people's emotions, I feel their physical pain. And you guys often hear me, I get headaches, I'm not feeling well. Maybe it's because I did a reading the other day, or, you know, you have to learn how to ground yourself. You have to learn how to distinguish your own emotions from the emotions of others, just like you do with clairaudience. You have to know, okay, when I feel pain, when I feel hurt and sadness, where do I feel it? Okay. When somebody else feels pain or sadness or whatever, where do I usually feel it first? I usually feel it first in my neck, and then I realize this ain't even about me. It's all about them. They're having some kind of day. It ain't even about me. So I have to shake that off. I have to brush that off, you know. So it's just distinguishing yourself from yourself from another person. A lot of times in our relationships, whether it's with family, with our parents, with siblings, with lovers, with friends and lovers and situationships, we tend to merge ourselves with the other person. We don't know where they begin, and you know where we begin and where they end. We don't know. So being an empath, you have to learn to distinguish what junk is yours, what junk is theirs. Because a lot of times they're crazy, you think it's your crazy, but it's not your crazy, it's their crazy. But you're feeling some type of way. You're feeling all this guilt. You're feeling all this confusion in your head. But it's their crazy. It has nothing to do with you. But because you're an empath, you're picking up their crazy and starting to think, hell, am I crazy? No, you're not. So, what do you know about the green orb appearing next to you? Me personally, or did you have this experience? It just depends. Green represents the heart chakra. So a lot of times when I'm looking at someone, I see their green heart chakra or their pink heart chakra, because you actually have two heart chakras. You don't just have one. One is pink and one is green. Okay. My light just went out on my computer, so I hope you guys can still see me. I'm tired of turning it off and on. But I think it makes the video slow when you can't see me well. There we go. So when you see green around a person, it could be their heart chakra. Or depending on the hue of the green, whether it's cloudy or looks kind of dirty, or it's kind of a muddy green color, a kind of a yellowish green, kind of a green that makes you look like it's slime. I don't know if y'all remember Nickelodeon, they had that show with the slime. But that kind of green, that person may be sick, or maybe about to get sick, like with a flu or a cold. Because a lot of times when I see people that are getting like a cold or flu or sinus problems, I'll see green yellow around their face. If it's really bad and they got a really bad infection, I'll start seeing red all over them. And I'm like, ooh, honey, you need to cleanse or something. So, and I when I first got sick with lupus, I noticed that my aura went from being purple, because my aura is, I'm an indigo. It went from being a pink purple to me having all this red around me. And I was like, I don't do red. So I knew something was wrong. So you can get into learning about the aura. Now that will have you judging a book by its cover. You know, once you tap into the aura and you figure out what the colors mean, and where the colors are that you're seeing, because just because you see green, the green could be way out there, like on the outside of their aura. It could indicate a hole in the aura where entities can come in and attach themselves. So just because you see a certain color, you have to note where, just like with the hearing, you have to, where are you seeing the color? Is it intense? What hue is it? So get used to that. And I will show you guys how to see auras. We will have a video, short video on that one day. I'll teach you how to see auras. When I was a teenager, I heard people praying and thought I was tripping until I heard other languages. That's deep. Hearing other languages, being clairaudient is pretty deep. I'll tell you a little something about what I can do, and not many people can do this. I speak a serpent language. The serpent language comes from the Nagas, you know, our reptilian ancestors, the Nagas, the philosophy of the Nagas. I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, that's that. So let's see, are there any other questions? Yeah, I'm just kind of reading. I think I've answered everybody's questions. Yeah, so all you guys need to do is practice hearing wherever you hear certain thoughts in your head. Where are you thinking those thoughts? What section of your brain are those thoughts coming from? Are they even coming from your brain? You know, sometimes you can hear a thought form that's like outside of you, and it makes you feel kind of weird because you're like, what is that? But you'll get used to it. The more you practice, the better you will get. All of these psychic gifts you have been doing your entire life. Just nobody has ever sat down with you and told you, look, this is what this is. This is what you're doing. You are hearing from your guides. You just need to understand the difference between your own voice and theirs. So, let's see. Somebody else just got on. I usually see their physical pain on others. Yeah, so you might get into crystal healing, energy healing, pranic energy, learning about the aura. I started doing aura readings when I began doing psychic readings, and it was phenomenal. Everybody loved it, that I could read their auras. It was kind of cool, because when I would read their auras, I would tell them the colors that I would see, and then I would take their photos and use the Photoshop to enhance the colors that I actually see. And it works. And I'm able to show people the colors that I see, and the problem issues that they may be having in their life or in their bodies. So it's a really, really cool thing to get into. Let's see. I've seen An electrical double of myself, one of my previous residences. Yeah, I think I was explaining on another video that we all have a second self. My second self, she's very, according to people that have seen my second self, she's very, very tall. She's very, very big. She's blue all over, very, very blue, electric blue all over. What my son saw her sitting next to me. And when I was in the church, people would tell me all the time when I would walk through the doors that they would always see tall beings next to me. And people would stare at me, you know, when I would walk through the church doors. And then finally one lady said, "You have these two beings with you that are huge." And I didn't even know it because I didn't know myself. I didn't know what was around me because I didn't know myself. So yeah, so you have a second self. We all kind of have a hero inside of us. You see all these Hollywood stars with these alter egos. Well, what they're trying to do is portray their second self, their hero self, the ego. So yeah. So I hope I've answered everybody's questions. I hope I've been clear about Clairaudient and how easy of a gift it is to develop, and how you can become instantly psychic, almost a medium. Being a medium is not for everybody. I promise you it's not. With me being a medium comes a lot of physical pain in my body because the spirits use my body a lot to communicate. It's not like some people want to say the spirit takes over you and is trying to suck your energy. And now, don't get me wrong, there are certain beings that would require some of your energy to manifest or to do things for you. There are some beings you can allow to feed off your energy. Yeah, I actually have a couple of beings that I allow to feed off my energy, because we all feed off of other people's energies. When you shake hands with someone, or if you have a child that gets hurt and you bring that child close to your heart, you're giving that child your energy, and that child is instantly better. When a parent puts their hand on the wound of a child, you know, even though that child was screaming and crying death, you put your hand, you know, on that wound of the child or close by, that child instantly feels better. That is you using your energy. When you pray for someone or lay hands on someone or do any kind of energy work on anyone, you are giving them your energy. You don't really have to. Those of us that know better and have gotten a little wiser, because I used to give people my energy when I would do energy work and healing. I had to stop doing that because I would end up being drained, because I would give them so much. Even when I teach, I give so much of my energy. So feeding off of energy is not bad. It's just that person that comes around that is constantly giving you their problems, making you feel a certain kind of way because they're taking your love energy, because that's what they're needing at the time. And then when they leave, they feel better, but you feel like crap. You know, they just fed off of you. So entities can do the same thing. You can tell them, yes, you can feed, or no, you can. And that's only certain ones. You know, not every ancestor or spirit or guide is like that. Most of them are not like that. It's just that I work with a couple of specific beings that I allow to occasionally feed off of my energy, because if I empower them, it empowers me. Okay, it's an exchange. So yeah, this lady used to tell me as a teen, had many spirits with me. Yes, I see them. You do have a lot of spirits with you. You do. What I hear is a lot of your spirits you have brought in from your past lives. It's like I see you like you were part of some kind of, I want to say it's like a tribe, but you were like chosen out of that tribe to do specific things. I think I'm hearing shaman. You were probably like a shaman or something, but you were in a cluster of people, other shamans, other beings, and you've brought some of this stuff with you. So I hope that helps you. So don't fear it, and I know you don't fear it. You're like, Mary, look. But which is so cool. I love photos. I love paranormal photos and videos. I've always wanted to be a paranormal investigator. So if I creep you guys out with my creepy haunting investigations, just be like, that's just Mary's thing. Okay. It helps me when I do that. It helps me keep my psychic gift strong, you know, by me going into people's homes and seeing what's there and reading people's auras. And it keeps me psychically sharp. So, mother of my daughter can accommodate spirits in her body. And I have talked to them. Yeah. My son has talked to some spirits that I have channeled. It gets really cool in my house, family. It does. A lot of times me and my son are sitting here playing music, chilling, you know, and I get so relaxed to where a spirit will come. And usually when we're doing music, it's some kind of musical ancestor, whether it's Michael Jackson, whether it's my cousin, Prince hangs around, Jimi Hendrix is off the hook, y'all. Yeah, so they do come around us because, you know, when we're doing music, we're researching, we're doing all this stuff and trying to get flavors. And, you know, my son is really good about that. So they do come. And me and my son, we do communicate with them. It's amazing. Amazing. And then it's like, it's really cool when they tell you things that you couldn't know. And then you go to research it and you're like, wow, it was true. It was true. I'll give you guys something that Michael told me. And I had no way of knowing this. So that's how I knew I was speaking to Michael Jackson. He told me, I asked him why did he have to leave? Because we all know Michael is a starseed. And he said because the people are too coy. And my phone's about to die, so I gotta end this. The people are too coy, so I left. And Michael is hilarious. Like, he has this amazing sense of humor. He's absolutely, you gotta catch like what he's saying. He'd just be rolling. But he told me that the people were coy. And I thought he was being, you know, kind of bougie, you know, snobby by using the word coy, because I didn't really know what the word coy meant. And I heard like my spirit guide tell me to look it up. So me and my son looked up the word coy, just typed it in COI, coy, and it is a secret society, family. He was telling me about a secret society of 300 that he may or may not have been a part of, but he knew about it. So he told me about it. And we looked it up, and sure enough, it's a council of 300. It's a secret society I knew nothing about. You can Google this yourself. COI, COI. That's what Michael told me about. So I don't know if it has anything to do with his transitioning, his passing. Go figure. But he told me that the hardest part about him leaving this side is the beautiful people. He thinks human beings are so beautiful because we're so unique in our own ways. he says that's the hardest part about him leaving. So anyway, that was my time with Mike. Many are asking me about my cousin. Do more of this. I sure will. I'm actually enjoying it. This is a lot better than posting a post and then having a debate about it. So yeah, I probably will do more of this. But no, I haven't talked to my cousin, DJ Screw, about how he transitioned. I don't know very much about him. I didn't even get a chance to meet him because I'm adopted out of the family. And then when I really got older and met my real family, they were telling me about family members and stuff like that. And DJ Screw is my blood cousin. Like I said, it's unfortunate that I never got to meet him, but I have not studied his life. I really don't know how he passed. It's just not something that I researched. I research his music, real talk. We listen to his music, but I haven't asked him how he transitioned. It's a little touchy when it comes to talking to family. Some things you want to know and some things you don't. Maybe one day I'll ask him, but I'm hearing two different stories about how he passed. My sister told me that DJ Screw was shot at. I don't know. And then somebody else on a post of mine said that he overdosed on some syrup, which is quite possible here in Texas. So I don't know, and I'm not ready to ask him. So yeah. So just to end this on a happy note, I've talked to many people. I have talked to Malcolm X. Yeah. I have talked to Noble Drew Ali. Yes, I have. He told me something that I didn't understand at first, but after being on Facebook for a while, then I understood what he was saying. What Noble Drew Ali told me, and I didn't have a clue because I was just coming into more science and learning about the Moors and stuff like that. What he told me was always remember the red, black, and green. And I thought, at the time I heard him say this, I thought, man, this must be my voice, because why would he say red, black, and green when the Moorish flag, the Moroccan flag, is green and red? Like, I didn't get it until one day I went to a post and somebody said, no, the Moorish flag is red, black, and green. And I'm like, what? It blew me away. So that's what he was saying to me. He was telling me the colors of the Moorish flag is red, black, and green, and don't you forget it. So I haven't forgotten it. So I am going to get off, family. My phone's going to die. So I'm also going to get on Periscope with Mr. Sabir Bey. So he always has some great information for me to research. So look him up. Anyway, so love and light, everyone. Have a good night. Again, I hope I answered everybody's questions. What about Tupac? I haven't channeled Tupac because it's kind of personal for me. I haven't channeled Tupac. I will one day. It'll probably be one of my first live seances that I do. It'll probably be with Tupac. Actually, you know what? No. I did channel him at one time. But I quickly let the conversation go, because a lot of times I get freaked out if I hear too much information, because I feel like somebody's going to be after me if I get too much information. One thing Tupac told me, and I can't figure it out. I asked him, how did he die? Where did he die? And he told me, he said California. He said something about California, and he said something about like he was already dead. Like before we knew, like he had already been gone. So he ain't dead. Hold on, my son just walked in. Yes.
My nose is running in its bed.
Okay, I'm gonna give you something. I'm about to get off here, and I'm gonna give you something because your nose is red. I might have you take your asthma pump too.
And it hurts.
Okay, I'll take care of you in just a second. I'll be off. I'll come to your room. Okay. All right. So yeah, I love his work too. I really love his work. I really do. Yeah, I'll change religions for Tupac and Malcolm X. I'll change my religion. I'll change gods for Malcolm X, I promise. I don't care who's getting offended. I will change gods for Malcolm X. But yeah, so that's what he told me, that he had already been like dead. And I heard like maybe last week somebody kind of mentioned that Tupac may have killed himself. And that's the first I've heard of that. So I would have to verify that. I don't know. But he did mention California, and he did mention that he had been dead already before we knew about it. So what he was trying to teach most people don't realize, he was a leader. Yes, he was a leader. And that is why I admire him. A lot of these young brothers today, they just rapping to be rapping and rapping about nothing. Rapping about nothing that makes sense to me. I mean, the beat sounds good, but Tupac, whole nother level. Tupac to me is ascended master level. Ascended master level. Yeah. Thank you. You have a wonderful night too. Yes, and Malcolm did give me some very, very, very deep details about his moments, his last moments. He did. And I believe him. I believe him. So maybe one day I'll do a video. I did a post before on Malcolm X and my time with him. I can tell you Malcolm X is very angry. He's very, very angry. He's very angry. And what he said to me is that he never wanted his daughters to get involved. He never wanted that for them. He wanted to keep them out of all of this. And it kind of bothers him a little that I think it's his oldest, is kind of pursuing certain things that he's like, he doesn't want her to get hurt. He's very protective of his children. But I feel in my heart, I feel like he's saying, but I understand, I get it. So I feel that right now. So yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I agree with that totally. So everybody have a good night. I'm going to try to get on Periscope right now and catch Sabir Bay show. So love and light, everybody.